your positioning. We'll see it all the time. And Astra being far away from the stars, no problem, but it's a little bit more difficult when you're a Killjoy. You've got to be within range, and it makes it a little bit easier if you're playing as the KO. Lots of utility to deny mid control, but they've actually pulled these players off C, or at least that's the intention. Getting excuse me, Garage, and then moving to the site. Problem here is that they've actually dug in, and they're looking to use the paranoia to flash themselves out after the engagement. Hated, might not even need it. 2 quick kills, the swing after, and a convincing hold from Acend. This is the start they needed, so it seemed. Maybe they can close it in the end, but it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, definitely not the prettiest of rounds, but a main sort of point of contact is going to revolve around Smurfette. So her having a good game is going to be integral. The thing is, she normally does.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you can bet on Smurfette having a good game. Samsi, though, being a little bit shaky, had some tough starts to the previous, but now opening this one up with Cinnamon down, dropping a player for Guild. The Acend have got a lot of control here, pushed up on A, passive on B, watching for the walkthroughs. And the stack was the C site, and it doesn't look like Guild have quite made a choice on where they're going yet, but certainly nobody moving towards that A site. Instead, Roxy trying to thread the needle a little bit. Oh, well, that's not worked.
Yeah, solid counter utility. Jade as well, being able to get in on the flank and earning up some orbs ready for that showstopper. They don't lose a single player. And they've kind of gone in for a similar purchase that we see at PX.
Round 3 ops, and as we said, Samsi didn't have the best of games to start out. This is a massive vote of confidence from Acend, and something I'm happy to see. Look, you can come into games and feel shut down. And sometimes a map can not go your way. It sucks when it's your pick, when you're kind of pulling it out as a surprise. But if you then let that neuter how you play the rest of the maps coming up in a series, you're not going to win. And you're already on the back foot. Acend playing with that confidence now. The operator's not going to get a chance to fight. Not at the start of the round, at least. It was Jade going down on A long. A lot of pressure from Guild. Acend now rotating in to stack up this side, but Guild are more than ready for that to be the case. They've got their turret watching mid, and Roxy, oh, the timing! It's precious! Amy caught, and this whole half of the map is now open.
Yeah, no, the C site has fallen completely, and the flank fairly far behind. They know that there's no lurk from the Killjoy at least, because that alarm bot was offline.
Spike planted.
That means they can pick up the pace a little bit on that rotation. Trap as well, still available. So they know that the majority of players are going to be locked into this site. aNNja already spotting that flanker, and mediKa almost trying to be a little bit more of a distraction. The thing is, you kind of want to keep that operator. That's the main thing. The rest of this bonus, if it goes down, it's not really a problem. The operator, you cannot get that back.
mediKa's down. Looks like they're still committing, putting it all on the line. Those trades, you know, even though they end up with a 2-for-1 in the end, it's not enough.
Trap destroyed.
Not to have you committing this up. Samsi bought it up, hoped for that early duel around B, but instead, she's the last player alive. Saving this weapon, hoping that it can have that impact in the coming round. That's Guild back on the board. This was a round that, you know, most of the time you're going to expect.
You're going to see the dash through from Smurfette, just already looking to dominate this control. And Jade, ooh, she's going to get spotted. Now has to be a little bit more careful. Counter prowlers being thrown out around the map, even smokes being put down to try and separate and lock them in, but ultimately the control is having to be given up.
Here.
That nade coming through poses quite a risk. Yes, Smurfette had to either die to it or step into the open, but the result was the same. That's a fantastic start for Acend. Yeah, just saving that utility on the belt a little bit, and it's gotten them out of a sticky situation. 55 seconds on the clock. Guild could be going anywhere, and they played a fake last round, so you're not seeing over rotations. Acend are very much sticking in their spots, and as you can see, that knife had caught Roxy, so extra intel to work with at this point. Acend are just waiting. Although the positions on ATOM, if an execute does come down, those players can't back out and play for the retake. They're going to have to hold their ground.
30 seconds left.
Kicking. They're going to go for this. They're going to have to do it soon. We've seen these late takes from Gildex before, but this time they've not been able to bait the rotations. Even still, though, Cinnamon's got that first. They need to clear Jade, however, and that's easier said than done. It's an absolute slaughter on the site.
But first 4 rounds, convincingly in Ascend's favor. This should be the easier one. They're in a bit of trouble. Samsi being pressured up close. That was a shot she needed to hit. At least she needed to get out of there alive. But with the job done, the advantage is still Ascend's, and pistols are all the guild have to work with. Fewer and fewer by the second.
Maybe they can get a plant, but I think that's all we're really looking at from this round. Ults-wise, I don't think you're going to want to commit anything to this. Maybe just try and give aNNja the plant so that she can get herself closer to that ultimate. Chances are you're going to get the rest of them anyway, but well, I guess Roxy wants the lockdown right now. Maybe just confident that aNNja will eventually get herself a kill.
You should run.
Oh.
Oh, down we go. Hello. Jade able to take down Cinnamon. They've got a chance of actually getting in here. Rushing forward, Guild trying to stop the defuse, but no one's here in time. Did that actually... It came in and it stopped it down to the pixel, but ultimately, same result. Kills win the round, or Ascend win the round.
3 of the 5 players got detained. What? High already for Ascend, and we don't want to allow this one to get out of control.
Flash through the fight after. Jade's able to pick up 2. Okay, at least making it worthwhile before going down, and not a bad agent to lose. Still most of the cyclical utility online for late round that Ascend will want. And this lead seems to be steps away from being secured for the entire half. Guild are at a point now with no credits to follow up. If they lose this round, Ascend may just be walking away with an incredible start to this map for a series where they were looking deflated. Oh, mediKa!
Oh.
Well, that couldn't have went much better. A fantastic spray down to give Ascend a 5-1 lead.
Then you'd almost look at this map and think that maybe they were the ones that picked it.
Here.
Oh, I'm sure if they could run it back, even at this point, they would have. If given the chance starting here. Well, it could have made all the difference. They were slow to begin, but now it looks like we're getting the full power of Ascend. Guild down to, a weaker buy for sure. Still mustering the rifles. They know they need to get rounds on the board. Ascend. Well, they've been baited into early fights, into early rotations. And they're going to make up for that with an aggressive C-long push. Holding that information. Clearing garage. And all this information is pointing to the fact that it's either about to be a blitz into B, but with the turret being heard inside of window and being recalled, they now know this is an A hit. Realization comes in, and it's a good thing they're not here with the Rolling Thunder we can see being lined up. That could have went terribly, but instead, they are just forced to play the retake. There's already a flank coming through. Oh my, the blast packs. That's absolute madness. Jade is behind them. Jade's just come up long. That's just ridiculous. That's second kill for her. She blast packed in past the alarm bot. It detected her, but they had no notion that she could be anywhere near this close. This round for Guild looked good, promising for at least a post plant. Instead, they're not even going to get onto the site.
Oh, Roxy somehow hitting a couple of connective shots. This becomes that little bit closer. Plant's possible. She's going to get it. She's got to stick it, and any spam could actually kill her with the last split second. She finds the shots as well. Oh, Ness. She's managed to close the round. That never should have been. Never should have happened. Themselves. But it will also benefit the opposing side. The pause over. It seems like maybe they're still in it. Eventually. With Smurfette taking control of the B site. You've also got the showstopper popped behind. It's actually going to run out completely. Steps being heard, and Jade, well, this time maybe overextending a little bit too much.
Here.
In the meantime, regressing in towards this A-link to try and take some control, and the rotation of the rest of the team coming in from behind.
down.
Yeah, both of these teams have that little lurker sent out to try and make space, but the real battle is on the side. Cinnamon, well, she's gonna get... What? Where's the communication? She's allowed to get 2 from there, and the third equally as ridiculous. mediKa, the flanker, now taken down by the same player.
The production won't be too happy with that. But yeah, and after what was such a strong start to this, all it took was just a round out from Roxy and Ness, and now it seems like Guild have risen from the ashes of the start of this map. An aggressive blitz take to start things off, and Smurfette already with the opener. The aggression from Amy might be caught here.
Maybe Amy's gonna catch them. Only the one found. Paranoia's good, but getting out of here doesn't seem possible. Fighting till her last, but taken down, and no one's here to support. Utility will make it over, but this only confirms the empty space that they've just fallen into. The plant for Guild secured, and a 4 versus 3. Samsi with the operator has some pressure here to show up some reveals coming through, but it's Smurfette still undetected. They've got to find her on the way through. None of that utility hitting her, but Samsi will.
Face your fear!
Had flank though from Hated. At least we'll get one. And actually, Samsi's left with a chance. Facing off against Cinnamon. Left with no sound, no inkling as to where her opponent is, and the timing has gone against her on the wraparound. Trying to bait her into a peek, but Cinnamon is not falling for this one. Experience prevails once again. 7 kills in the last 2 rounds for Cinnamon now.
And is helping out Samsi massively.
Where are you?
Another fast push by Smurfette. The reveal. Catching them, but unfortunately that's not quite wallbangable on that angle. Luckily, the star prompted Jade to peek, and well, the rest is history.
Hated might be able to catch someone. No! Oh, the positioning was perfect, but the shots, not so much. And I don't know, Acenda's starting to look a little bit rattled over the last few rounds. I'd like to see them call a pause themselves, because their economy has now dwindled from
Right there.
basically the best spot you can have to potentially the worst going into the next round. And the battles that we're seeing them take, just such higher risk. It's like someone's attempting to bring them back when they're still in the lead.
Oh!
What? What?
It's not a weapon you'll be looking to save, I suppose, but, well, you could have saved the embarrassment at least. What a swing. What a beautiful shot. And Guild just seemed to have everything going their way these past couple of rounds, and dare I say, just returning to the form we saw from them in the previous map. That's got to be a worry for Acend. And you can feel like those first couple went their way, but the comeback now appears to be on, with Guild hot on their heels, now catching up. Equalized. One player's out hunting. aNNja down towards their spawn, but both players lined up. I mean, it's tough, but even just one kill here, massively valuable. A weapon taken away, but not this time.
No, they'll at least be able to keep something, and that might actually enable them to go for some sort of purchase.
At least walk in neck and neck with their opponents. This round will determine how things go. I'm looking again at the operator in the hands of Samsi. I want to see the value from it, and it looks like the opportunities will be there. Guild, although going to force her right back.
Very aggressive positioning in towards A. It was one of the spots that had been fought for in the early round from Guild so regularly. I can understand them wanting to try and deny it completely. Anti-flash even being played. Paranoia ready from Amy as well. Like, it's not going to be easy to clear for the side of Guild. You can see the bait almost coming out from mediKa on the other side. Well, that's not gone great at all. Somehow, aNNja's actually managed to kill Jade through the wall, though. Was she caught by a seize?
May have been. Either way, the result is 4v4. Acend aggressively committed to this a long hold, although nade comes from the right. Hated moves back to the back of the site. They're trying to root her out, to find her. Now she knows they're on the way. Has to pick her moment to swing, and well, it was still being spotted. Ever vigilant of that angle, but they've left open A-Link. Nothing comes of it other than the one kill, the trade, and the plant should
10 seconds left.
now be theirs. A risky play, but they get it done. Oh, the angle's left open, always occupied by Acend. They're in with a chance.
Holding that rolling thunder. Waiting patiently for anybody to get even close to that spike. Teammate holding onto the cross, but I think the timing might have gone the other way. Never mind. aNNja will peek out and find the short, and the gravity well is going to pull her into position. Ness again. The last player standing, but she just we've seen so far from Acend.
Where are you?
The lead lost, but
Oh dear.
well, no time for questions.
Were you going to say, but the half might not be lost?
Those may or may not have been the next words. You have no proof. All that matters is that Guild have won those fights in, again, record time. And it's starting and continuing, rather, to feel like the dominant game that Map 1 was. Everything going their way.
Spike planted.
It's got to just be demoralizing to be Acend right now. It's looking likely that they will lose the half that had been all but assured for them.
Smurfette stunned up, but still holding up close, confident in her own ability, but Hated has taken her out.
One enemy remaining.
And while the trade's coming back, thick and fast, leaving just Hated remaining. From 5-1 down to 7-5 in the lead.
Down in the last 6 rounds in a row, Guild have snatched a victory out of their clutches in that half. Still one more to play for. And as they mount the attack, it seems they've chosen the right battleground. C site completely open, minus the turret damage. This one's going to go off scot-free.
Trap destroyed.
There's still some utility actually being used to just clear out these flanks, but look at the control that's already been taken. Jade will spot a couple into CT, and this is going to be a battle purely in towards the garage. These fights could completely define the round, and Jade's won the majority of them. Caught with a paranoia in hand, though, it gives Roxy at least a chance, but it will be another pistol into the hands of Acend. A life.
Many pistols and a Marshall. The stack up towards this C site.
Here.
Damage looking to be done early, and there it is. Cinnamon with a headshot. Still looking to swing on this angle. A classic from far away, doing a ton of damage. And Smurfette's made it out. I mean, that's a successful early round, especially when you have a player with a Marshall running around. They've stripped armor completely off Hated. And then taken down by a classic on range. Sorry?
Oh, she's trying to bait them out. Almost trying to just throw herself into the wind while her teammates peek, and it hasn't really worked, unfortunately. I don't mind the idea. What can Smurfette really do from this position? She hasn't been spotted by the Haunt. That's at least something. And her teammate, in the form of Roxy, is rotating in. Amy low, but Samsi is just cleaning things up. Earning those extra orbs, and Amy is there to finish.
Coming into this full buy round. Equalized up yet again. A position to send. Must view as a disaster considering the start. They've almost dropped Smurfette immediately. The spam's back in the other direction, doing a fraction of the damage.
Ready. In to try and spot out the corner. Roxy's avoided. It goes for the swing. A lot of damage done, but ultimately just a 1-for-1 trade. Solid stuff from Acend, and now they slow it down with almost the full rotation coming through, leaving Smurfette low on life and alone on C. Gonna have to try and put herself in a bit more of an audacious position. Thing is, you can start to see Guild almost rotating their players off the angle. It is being jiggle peeked by aNNja, but she even fades away. This leaves Ness almost completely alone.
Well, luckily, aNNja's able to put a stun down, but the nade following puts her back, and Ness is then overwhelmed, pushed from too many angles. Guild on the retake. They're on the back foot, and they've lost a lot of HP between aNNja and Smurfette. They barely
Yeah, I don't
make
think
half.
they go for it.
Yep. It's the right call. Just too little opportunities to go their way. One bullet coming Smurfette's, 2 or 3 aNNja's, and all of a sudden the round is a massive clutch.
This is similar to the last half. Huge bonus win this time, although they broke back in the previous half to give themselves that 5-1 lead. Now, though, you're just looking to try and hold on to some of the weapons. And that's the thing. If you're on the other side of Acend, you might even want to look for some of these. You have the finances that it's not going to cause you too many problems, but you're going to allow them to walk away with the guns. The thing is as well, for Guild, they don't really have anything to sort of...
But just to buy as much time as possible for those swings to come through. It does exactly that. Oh, that early fight again, Smurfette. We saw it last round in double doors. This time, the rifle falls immediately on top of B. And Guild abandon A. They come in to fill this space, possibly to grab an upgrade. Well, actually, it's Ness that has a weaker weapon. Roxy's got a Guardian. They need something now. I mean, no information, no reason to hold down the sites in any particular order. Instead, they're going to go taking and pushing. That's been spotted right away.
Yeah, spotting multiple players as well. Cinnamon needs to find something here. They're going to be able to delay them a little bit on the other side. Although, never mind. Hated peeks into the aftershock and manages to come out with 2 kills. A huge risk, but at the same time, just being stuck in that corner had very small chances of survival. And now Cinnamon, well, she's been a multi-frag queen throughout this game thus far, but this would have to be the best of them.
With a different agent, perhaps. But up against an operator, nothing to block off view.
Find you.
Feels like a damning situation. An attempt of a pre-fire. But just too many bodies on the other side. That is 9-7.
To get back into that half, but now they are right back on the horse. If you're on the Guild side of things, though, you know that rounds like that can still come up. Smurfette, one away from a Blade Storm, will guarantee have it in the next round. They look to go for an operator instead. Couple of marshals here and deep control already taken on C, so got a decent amount of ground. The main gap, which is filled by utility from Roxy, going to be on that B side of the map. Instead, though, looks like they might go for a bit of a peek here instead, and, well, not much weaponry behind this peek.
Yeah, a lot of utility coming through on both sides, and wow, forcing them into a decently close range fight. Numbers on their side. Marshall locking mediKa in this corner, and they know exactly where she is. Falling back though. Space giving up. Look at the push. Guild coming down on C long, looking to get aggressive on B as well. At least holding the information, but as they pull back and start full passive rotations to the A site, Acend change direction. They look for C. And sure, Roxy's waiting here. Left. She has gone back towards the site, but only a sheriff in hand.
Gonna hear the steps. Gonna be hit by the Nightfall as well. That would give her position away. She's got to be careful she doesn't just get spammed out. A nice shot will drop the spike. Needs a little more though. She has, however, bought some time for her teammates. aNNja's caught another, and the pistol's even going to work out. It seems to be happening again. And they can't even get the spike down. I don't know how Guild managed to do it so many times.
One kill is invaluable.
Even just the time wasted. Luckily, there's still enough for a purchase here for Acend, but they can't allow this to get out of control. And now you're looking at an operator picked up for free on Smurfette. Blade Storm ready. They've got so much available to them here.
I mean, that's perfect. They actually managed to destroy the knife through the box. Gives them a great spot now to play with, some utility, but the showstopper, a little too much for them. The swing out of Ness, not rewarded. With a shutdown on the site, Acend have overrun. They've got a plant.
Cinnamon's going to attempt something here, and I guess the timing about right, but doesn't quite land the shot. Rotation coming through from Smurfette, but again, realistically, do you want to throw that operator into the wind? If you're getting a little bit further than might have been expected. Cinnamon, a bit of an odd angle, but I think maybe just spotting the barrel of the gun and a
rifle for aNNja. It's a big investment. Blade Storm as well for Smurfette, and that is going to be used right away, aggressively pushing A. But nobody is challenging. Acend are in fact waiting. This is a turtle setup if ever I've seen one. Every angle watched and a teammate ready to swing on most of them.
Yeah, and they know that this round is likely to be something quite aggressive. You've heard the Blade Storm popped, and either that means they've juggled their money around to allow them to have a full purchase, or they're relying on Smurfette. Either way, you've got to be careful.
Yeah, they were almost trying to make them nervous there, and it doesn't happen. You don't hear any utility used, nobody pushes up, and eventually 50 seconds on the clock. Acend make the call. They're not scared. They're not making a move. They're just waiting for us. So they've got to bring that spike to them. What a push by Smurfette. Crazy attempt, but it hasn't worked out, and aNNja's left alone on the site. Her teammates rallying in, but with no utility. She stood no
30
chance.
seconds left.
This ultimate to be challenged. You'd imagine 5 seconds left. They've got to run, and, well, most of them will make it out. The players inside of short not having a great time. 3 to 10. Guys. Oh, no. The wall's gone up. The defuse. There's so few players to get in there and deny it. Oh! That was absolutely sensational from roxi, but not enough. The player that was low HP is the one that survived somehow. Were those both headshots?
Right from finding it, even though you've stabilized for Acend. They managed to hold on to the round. That's the most important thing. There's going to be a purchase back up for Guild, but they are now 3 rounds behind on their map choice. Acend looking set to take this one over the line, but they've still got a long way to go.
Yeah, getting a map 3 on the board here. Looking more and more likely by the second. The reactions to avoid the rolling thunder. Well, not necessarily by any.
Timmy!
Just getting tagged up the whole time. Timmy's coming through for 1. The second for ness. Good control for Guild. Advantage, not to last long. I mean, a player trapped in the corner, but they can still play the 4v3 retake. Damage was done to Jade and a lot more to mediKa.
It's starting to look troublesome. Both players low and slowly being picked apart. Samsi at least connecting a bullet or two. Maybe wanting to try and bring this operator through, but even just removing some of the weaponry would have high levels of value, and, well, she has the tour de force for the next round anyway.
Rolling thunder right as you go to click. Ends up hitting somewhere on the site, and now you're looking a bit silly. Stuck in the open. Either way, that kill was found by the turret. And opening this up, the battle of the operators. It goes in Smurfette's favor this time. I don't know how that didn't break JD. Or Jade. Just been done.
Bait and switch on long. Samsi already in the dirt. Not the start they were looking for.
Not ready yet.
But their economy somewhat on the brink here. This could be an opportunity for Guild to get back into this game once again. They've been the queens of the late round, or the late game, I should say. In that first half, stringing together a streak of 6 or 7 rounds. And while they might get past the first player, Hated has met the trap of Cinnamon.
They've realized the setup now as well. You know, they saw the player was close after the Prowler wanted to pressure but couldn't. Now they set their sights elsewhere, looking towards the B side, looking towards aNNja, stuck in a corner, but taking the fight to them. The ultimate catching the final player, and aNNja plays off that info. 11 to 10. Much less investment into shields and utility, and 3 rifles. Instead, they come out with 2. The operator, the first to meet an opponent, Smurfette. One after another, picking them off, and with those 2 kills, immediately you can see Acend are not looking to move towards this side anymore. Thing is, they haven't had to adjust their defensive setup all that much on Guild. The only adjustment was that pull off of the B side, but now Cinnamon is back there watching it.
I'm surprised that we've seen as much of an investment as we've had here. Acend maybe thinking they could get it over the line, but just being slaughtered by Smurfette early, it's going to leave them in an awkward spot if they can't find something here. And you can see from ness just no overextension. Like, you're already 2 players to the good. You don't need to take that same sort of risk anymore. B site left open, but I'm sure they're almost more than happy to take it. The most retakeable site in the entire game. And now you can almost just see different players pushing and probing around the map, hoping that someone on Guild makes a mistake.
Oh, roxy's heard that.
30 seconds left.
Just about as the player faded away, I think. Another star came down, a prowler, but it sees nothing. They might start to think they've been duped, but in fact, Acend are saving. They're not moving towards the site. They're not looking for a plant. Instead, they're realizing that, yes, they did invest a lot into this round. They put a lot of money on the line, and they didn't see the reward
10
early.
seconds left.
And with no mistakes being made, this is actually what good Valorant looks like from this side of the attackers. Not with the two players dying at first, but to sit back and say, all right, we're at a disadvantage. We need these weapons. Let's sit for a minute 30 and see what...
Just hasn't got much better. Okay, you've got your null command online. Maybe there could be a plan around that. Instead, they're going to go straight back to challenging for space over on this A-long spot. Now, they've expected the utility that's there from roxi, and roxi's actually fallen back just to try and get the support from her teammate. Thing is, a decent rotation already coming all the way back, and now that util's going to go down completely, and by the looks of it, Guild are playing for a retake.
It looks like we're going to have that retake forced. I mean, unless they have an idea here for a small...
No!
An audacious play! But, I mean, late in the round as well. They guessed they were very far back, but, well, they were not. And we've ended up now with the advantage for Guild. They're very happy to play the retake.
Yeah. Oh, with that advantage, there's not really any reason not to. Already coming back through, though. The trades have gone in favor, at least initially, of the attackers. The spam not good enough, though. Turning it back into a 2v2. Jade has found another, and they're eventually going to close it out. It's
if it was some sort of boom bot going through, whatever, but there was a gap there, and they ran straight into it. Smurfette having to run straight out at Garage. They are applying a lot of utility there early. A paranoia even used up. But ultimately, all right, it gets a prowler out of the other side, confirming there's players here, and they'll reset looking to skirmish elsewhere. The thing is, they've put the op on C long, and nobody from Acend dares to challenge that angle in this round, at least not so far. So they've taken it from being an op peak in the middle of the map around double doors, with a bit of utility traded. They've set themselves up to have all this control and use this showstopper to take out Ness. No more stars.
They have decent retake opportunities here. The stun actually just about catches Jade. And the rest of the team within the site might also be in trouble. Even still, though, they've managed to trade back more than effectively, and it's left on to aNNja to try and keep them in the map, and she will not be able to. It is going to be the victory for us.